first became aware of my mom's anti-Blackness when I started kindergarten, and it mostly centered around avoiding interactions with Black people and not allowing me to be exposed to anything that she considered Black culture. So if we were walking and she saw a Black person, she would pull me closer to her. If we were in the car in a parking lot and saw a Black person in the parking lot, she would make a point to lock the doors, and I wasn't allowed to listen to rap or Michael Jackson or Tina Turner.
Welcome to Inside the Daily Gist, where we talk about things going on the news, things going on the internet or around the world. Yes, my friends, as we all know that the F around the find out moment is still going viral. Right here, the Haitians Americans, they are speaking our. Yes, you heard me right. They are speaking our, and they are on the internet. They are actually pouring out their mind after the election. They have speaking out, and I'm gonna be playing some clips here and there. Then we are gonna finish our thought on the other side.
Of my mom's anti-Blackness when I started kindergarten, and it mostly centered around avoiding interactions with Black people and not allowing me to be exposed to anything that she considered Black culture. So if we were walking and she saw a Black person, she would pull me closer to her. If we were in the car in a parking lot and saw a Black person in the parking lot, she would make a point to lock the doors, and I wasn't allowed to listen to rap or Michael Jackson or Tina Turner. And she was hypocritical about that because I wasn't allowed to listen to Cyndi Lauper or Madonna either. She would call it trash music and say that it was going to be a bad influence. But if it was a white artist, it was not racialized. It was only when it was Black artists that it was racialized. And another thing that I think is kind of typical is, as a musician, there were a lot of Black artists whom she respected and enjoyed, but she would always say that one Black artist is the exception, the rest are bad influences. When I went to school, if I came home and said I made a friend, her first question would be white or Black. And that drove me nuts because in preschool, I dealt with a lot of bullying and discrimination because of being Asian. So it didn't make sense to me that she wanted me to turn around and do that very same thing to my Black classmates whom she knew nothing about on the basis of their skin color. And when I wouldn't stay away from my Black friends, she would resort to making up justifications as to why it was harmful for me. She would say they're going to hurt me and they're going to be a bad influence because they fight and they swear and they're not good students. And of course, none of that was true. And in my household, it was not physically or emotionally safe to voice your opinions, but about that I would, because it literally angered me. And then she would resort to physical violence. And that sealed the deal in my mind that prejudice is purely irrational because none of her claims had any basis in reality, and that's why she had to resort to physical force.
The Latino, African American, Asian, and other communities realize that they share the same oppressor is the day we start winning. But the problem is our communities are divided. For Asian Americans and for African Americans, we probably have one of the worst relationships between any community.
Well, I bet you a lot of Asian Americans, too, in my experience, don't even realize that if it wasn't for the Civil Rights Movement, there would not be 22 million Asian Americans in this country.
Thank you. What I have been trying to teach the Asian community is like, friends, do you understand that your success, your prosperity, your civil rights that you enjoy right now was paid for with Black blood?
Yo, what's up, man? I don't know if you guys have seen this video of these two Asian men talking about the divide between the Black community and the Asian community. It's pretty dope, man. These dudes are laying down knowledge. It's dope. I think one of the guys maybe Korean, the other guy's maybe Filipino. Either way, they're both Asian, and they're spitting that real shit. The guy's like saying, yo, I don't know if the Asian community understands this, but we wouldn't be here, 22 million of us in America, if it weren't for the civil rights movement, the civil rights bill.
If it wasn't for the Civil Rights Movement, there would not be 22 million Asian Americans in this country.
I'm like, yeah, son, it's real talk. Listen, first of all, foreigners in general, like me, I am not a foundational Black American. I'm not. My parents came from Nigeria to here. If it were not for foundational Black Americans, none of these immigrants would be able to be doing what they do. That's facts. My parents wouldn't be able to do what they do if it weren't for foundational Black Americans. We have to understand that this is all history. Fuck your feelings. This is the real deal. And me growing up in America, being born in America, African Americans always have my back, but when they're on their backs, nobody picks them up. I know there's gonna be. I can't wait to see the comments. There's gonna be some passive aggressive ass bitch here talking that shit. But this is all facts, all right. And I want to appreciate those two Asian dudes spitting that knowledge. And by the way, there's a lot of Asian people online spitting knowledge, real knowledge about the origins of our dealings with each other. People really waking up, and I really appreciate that because Asians and African Americans are so similar. Here's a nice little tidbit. Bruce Lee, when he was in San Francisco, you know who his first student was an African American guy. It was an African American. You could go watch Be Like Water on 30 by 30. His first student was an African American.
No, we're good. We are good. No. I'm speaking for Black American experience. Every time we have tried to band with everyone, literally, the whites come in and offer you all something and you leave us in the dust. We tried it. Our own people sold us out. Let's start there. Well, I don't even know if that, because I feel like it went by tribe. It was a war, but let's not even start there. Let's just say our own people sold us out, right? Arabs conquered North Africa, the Spanish slave trade, which they had black people in. Then, when you look at the Native Americans, the 5 civilized tribes, most of them sold the blacks back to the whites because the blacks couldn't afford to prove that they were Native Americans. Every time we have tried to bend with someone, y'all over. Figure it out I am not a racist person. I love everybody. But when it comes to success, I'm only worried about the Black American community right now due to the fact of if it was vice versa, everybody else would think of themselves.
But the problem is our communities are divided.
I bet you a lot of Asian Americans too don't, in my experience, don't even realize that if it wasn't for the civil rights movement, there would not be 22 million.
The problem is in division. This is the problem. Black Americans are only seen when we're beneficial to others. He said because of the civil rights movement, that's why 20 plus Asian people are here. But who was the sacrificial lamb during that civil rights movement? Minority group was in the trenches with Black Americans while that was happening. Okay, and then on top of that, affirmative action, you know who benefited from that, even though it was meant for Black Americans and other marginalized groups? White women. And you see how they voted this past election. Other than that, if they're not benefiting from Black American people or Black American culture, they look at Black American people as less than. That's why they're always thriving and reaching for white proximity. This also applies to all the blacks that's not Black American. They think they better than Black Americans, but they're always cosplaying and benefiting from Black American culture. And these people are so disingenuous because they're only talking like this because of Trump, talking about mass deporting Asians, Hispanics, Latinos, non-American citizens. That's the only reason this conversation came up, and that's why this is so disingenuous. It's funny now that they targeted, they want to give Black Americans credit. How come this conversation didn't happen 10 years ago, 11 years ago? The civil rights movement took, place 60 years ago, and you now just talking about it? And since we're talking about this oppressor, this colonizer, the man, it's funny because he will hire a Black American before the Asian man will, before the Arab man will. Matter of fact, they'll come into your community, your Black community, take all your money, but they won't give you a chance. And then they judge you worse than the oppressor. Let one Black American person do something wrong, then they label the whole community that way. That's the same tactics the white man use. Right? So the problem isn't division. The problem is respect. Y'all view Black Americans as less than, and we're not having it. If we don't accept that type of treatment from the white man, what makes you think that we're going to accept it from these middle groups? Are y'all that delusional? It's always good to show gratitude, but what does that translate into without respect?
Yes, my friends, that is what's going on the internet. The blacks are not having what the Haitians are telling them. Y'all heard it? That the Haitians are now coming up to regret about the last election. Why the blacks are saying, okay, yeah, what you are saying right now, it's not something new. It's something that's happened a long time ago. Why is it that you are bringing it up right now just because Donald Trump said what? Because Donald Trump said he's going to deport, the people he want to deport. And the problem now started for people to start speaking out, as in the Asian Americans, for them to start speaking out. You know what I mean? But this is very educational. You know why I said it? Because this allow a lot of people to know history. This allow a lot of people to know history. Yes, Kamala Harris did not win, but y'all see the conversation that this Kamala Harris lost as cost among people. You know what I mean? Y'all see the conversation that this Kamala Harris losing the election in 2024. That election actually has caused a lot of conversation. And because Donald Trump says he wants to do this, that, 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 got a lot of people thinking. You know, it says in the Bible, do not be friends to those that just want to be friends with you because of their stomach. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean. Do not be friends to those that want to be friends with you because of their stomach. That's why the blacks, when that guy said, no, we ain't having it. Y'all didn't do your history? You know what I mean? Y'all did not go down in history to read about history that this so-called freedom that we all are enjoying right now, some people paid for it. And we have to give respect, just like the other guy said, give respect when it's necessary. Give respect when it's due. What do you guys think? The Haitians Americans, they are now begging the blacks to forgive them. But the blacks, they are not having it. Let's continue the conversation down there in the comment section. The F around and find out it's getting real, and the conversation it's getting deep, and they are bringing it online. We get more for sure. We will bring it up today with you guys. Bye for now.